Welcome to TRN Podcast, episode 135. Today, we're taking a look at a snapshot of a La Liga EA Sports match from earlier today, Saturday, April 19th, 2025. Barcelona versus Celta Vigo. We've got info here from live updates during the game, plus some pre-match analysis. Our aim is really just to give you the essential insights and the key moments from this clash.
Hello there. Yes, quite an eventful afternoon over in Barcelona, seems like. Before we dive into the live action itself, maybe we should quickly set the scene. Just talk about the context before kickoff to sort of grasp what was at stake. We're talking Jornada 32, match day 32 of La Liga EA Sports.
Exactly. You had the league leaders, Barcelona, playing at home against Celta Vigo at the Estadio Olympic Luis companies. For Barcelona, the plan seemed pretty clear. Get the 3 points, ramp up the pressure on the teams chasing them, especially Real Madrid, potentially stretch that lead to 7 points before Madrid play Athletic tomorrow.
And this match landed right in the middle of a really, really busy spell for the Catalans. As you know, they've still got a league game against Mallorca on Tuesday, and then the big one, the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid next Saturday. So this game against Celta, it was kind of the first hurdle in that massive week. The goal, obviously, was to build some momentum with a win.
Absolutely. And then you've got Celta Vigo on the other side. Their sights are set on maybe getting into European competition. Going into this match day, they were sitting 7th, 5 points behind Betis in 6th, and actually level on points with Mallorca in 9th. So for them, improving their away form was key. They only picked up, 13 of their 43 points away from Vigo before this. A point in Barcelona would have been huge for them.
Definitely. So should we look at the teams, the benches specifically? For Barcelona, you had names like Iñaki Peña, Kokan, Hector Fort, Araujo, Christensen, Eric Garcia, Gavi, Pablo Torre, Dani Olmo, Pau Victor, Lamine Yamal, and Ansu Fati. Quite a lot of firepower and options there for Xavi.
Yeah, a strong bench. And for Celta, their subs included Ivan Villar, Carlos Dominguez, Gilsa, Mingueza, Ristic, Hugo Alvarez, Sari, Damian, Sotelo, for Lopez, Alfon, and the main man, Iago Aspas, interestingly not starting. Plenty of players there who, as we'll see, could and did come on to play a part later in the game.
Right, let's get to the match itself then. The score actually reached 3-3 by the 81st minute. That tells you it was quite a lively one. What were the main takeaways from that period of the game?
Well, one thing that stood out was that Barcelona's initial intensity seemed to drop off a little. Maybe it was the packed schedule catching up, or perhaps Celta were just, really well organized at the back. Yeah. It felt like Celta started to focus more on just holding on to the draw. You could almost sense they'd be pretty happy with a point.
And we saw Barcelona react to that, didn't we? Around the 79th minute, Eric Garcia was getting ready to come on. That might suggest the manager was thinking about shoring things up defensively in the final minutes, maybe protect the draw or just steady the ship.
Just before that, though, around minute 78, there was a substitution for Barca that really got people talking. Robert Lewandowski went off, and Gavi came on. Lewandowski looked like he'd picked up an injury. Seemed like a muscle problem in the back of his thigh. He actually asked for the change. That could be a really significant blow for Barcelona in this crucial part of the season, couldn't it? Especially with those huge games coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Lewandowski is, he's central to their attack. A muscle injury could seriously impact their offensive threat in the next few matches. We'll obviously have to wait for a proper diagnosis. But the look on his face as he walked off wasn't encouraging. It makes you wonder how that'll affect their tactics against Mallorca and, crucially, in the Clásico against Real Madrid.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. Then around the 75th minute, there was a bit of controversy. Looked like a pretty clear foul on Dani Olmo, but the referee, Malera Lopez, didn't call it. In such a tight game, those kinds of decisions, they can really swing things and cause a lot of frustration, can't they?
That's right. In these really hard-fought matches, a single refereeing call or non-call can be decisive, especially if it's a clear foul in or near the penalty area. I suspect there'll be some debate after the game about how much that moment influenced the outcome.
Meanwhile, Celta made a couple of changes around the 74th minute. Duran came on for Fer Lopez, and Borja replaced Iago Aspas. Fresh legs for the final stretch, maybe looking to solidify the defense, or perhaps even snatch a late winner.
That double substitution from the Celta coach, Claudio Giraldez, shows he was reacting to the game's flow too. Bringing on Duran might have been about protecting the result they had. Whereas Borja for Aspas, maybe that was about adding some fresh attacking spark against a potentially tiring Barca defense.
And just a minute before those Celta subs, around the 73rd minute, Dani Olmo actually had a massive chance for Barcelona. He got on the end of a pass from Íñigo Martínez, found himself in a great position, but just pulled his shot wide. That was a huge opportunity to retake the lead.
Yeah, that was definitely a key moment. If that had gone in, it could easily have changed the whole complexion of the final minutes.
Yeah.
But it also highlights Dani Olmo's quality, getting into that position in the first place. Good movement.
Before all that late drama, though, around the 70th minute, it felt like Barcelona kind of realized the seriousness of the situation. After finding themselves behind earlier, they really seemed to up their game, increase the intensity quite a bit. You could tell they knew how important this match was for the title race and were desperate to get back on level terms.
That response is pretty typical of top teams, isn't it? When they go behind, they often find another gear, put more pressure on the opponent. It was clear Barcelona weren't just going to roll over at home, especially given how tight things are at the top of the table.
And that pressure paid off. Around the 69th minute, Rafinha popped up with the equalizer for Barcelona, making it 3-3. The assist came from the youngster Lamine Yamal. Rafinha scored with a header past the Celta keeper, Guaita. An absolutely vital goal at a critical time must have given the team a huge lift.
Totally agree. Rafinha showed his finishing ability there, and that assist from Lamine Yamal just underlines how consistently important he's becoming for them. You hear reports about how well he performs even in training day in, day out, and that combination produced a really crucial equalizer.
Speaking of Rafinha, he was actually mentioned beforehand as someone likely to play a big part in this match, and, well, scoring the goal to make it 3-3, he certainly lived up to that expectation.
That's true. Often it's the players you spotlight beforehand who step up in those key moments. Rafinha took his chance and really showed his value to Barcelona's attack. And Yamal providing the assist, again, it just highlights his development and consistent contribution.
So, as we've heard, a really dynamic game between Barcelona and Celta de Vigo, ending, as of our last update, in a 3-3 draw. Barcelona will need to regroup quickly now with two massive games coming up in the next week. For Celta, though, snatching a point away at the league leaders, that's got to be a real boost for their European qualification hopes. What do you think this result means for both teams' ambitions as the season winds down?
Well, for Barcelona, look, this draw has to be seen as a bit of a setback in the title race, doesn't it? They missed a chance to put more distance between themselves and Real Madrid before their game. And heading into those huge matches against Mallorca and then Real Madrid, this result, it might raise a few questions, maybe about their defensive solidity or squad rotation, perhaps. But for Celta, wow, this point is massive for their confidence and their European push. Getting a result away at the leaders sends a strong message.
Yeah, an interesting point to finish on. Definitely gives us something to think about. Thanks for those insights today.